Hey up, my ducks. Welcome to the Hermit's Cave. You know, it's 2 a.m. On a Sunday morning, and we thought we'd come live. So, welcome to Rose, who's the first person in. Hello, Rose. It's good to see you here. I think it's important to introduce everybody who's here tonight. So, I'm here at the moment from the Hermit's Cave. I'm joined by Jen from Jen's Balanced Tarot. You want to say hi, Jen?
Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Or is it Sunday for some?
It's Sunday for us.
It's Sunday for you already.
So we've got Joe and Luna Eclipse joining us. And introducing also Shane, who's, I don't think you've ever been live before, have you, Shane?
Nope, never have before.
So Shane is Jen's son from Jen's Balanced Tarot. You might have seen his amazing creations with his bags and things. So Shane is here from Wolfbound Creations. And we've also got Elle, who's only ever appeared on the Tarot Times before.
Yeah, we're being very spontaneous tonight.
I know.
What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, so it's good to see everybody. We've got let's see who we've got. We've got Rose, Joe, Luna. Luna is always one of the first. It's amazing
how do you do that? Like no matter what time of day.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
Yeah, she's really on it. We've got Raven Crone, Essence 818, who's always a supporter of this channel, which is really lovely. Aquarius Owl, Nicole Talbot. We've got Eternal Seeker, Raven Song. It's lovely to see you. Moon Baby. Hello, Bran.
Hi, Bran.
Hello.
Just like, oh my gosh.
Camera, so I'm
Hello.
like, you guys.
Hello.
And then we've got Arcan TVM, Science. Hello, Hen. Good to see you. Rose Coleman. We've got Zane, Shuffle Tarot,
Hi, Nina.
Marina, Julia, Melissa, and we've got Butterfly, the lovely Butterfly, and Teddy. So welcome, everybody. It's a really weird time. So the four of us, plus Jamie, have been chatting since about 9 o'clock UK time, which is about 5 hours ago. So we was chatting and just hanging out together, and we was talking about a myriad of things, really. But one of the things that we was talking about was how much this community means to us as content creators, or somebody like Jamie, who's just relatively new to the community. And yeah, just what that sense of community means and what it brings to each of us. So we decided that we would go live and just talk about community in general, in terms of the tarot community, what it means to each of us and why it is important. So without throwing people under the bus, Jen, do you want to start off and just talk about your experience of this community and what it means to you?
Sure. Totally not under the bus. I'm like, where's my wine? Where's the wine that I
Got no sound.
So, you know, to me, this community has meant everything. And, you know, we've been having a bit of a love fest here with the few of us, but it's just so many of the rest of you that are here in this chat tonight are such a big part of that. You know, I've been on YouTube now for a little over a year, and the friendships that I've made, the community that I've been able to engage with, all around this sort of central passion that we have around tarot, but it's expanded to so much more than that. And I just don't think that there's ever a bad time to say I'm really grateful for that, and I'm really happy to be here, and I'm so I feel so blessed to have the friendships that I have and to be able to talk to all of you and to see the people that are showing up at this ridiculous hour in the UK. I mean, it's only like 6 p.m. here in Seattle, Washington. It's about 9 p.m. on the East Coast, but it is, what time is it over there in the UK right now?
It's 2 in the morning.
I mean, what better to do on a Saturday, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just before we go to Shane and Al, when we think about community, the definition of community is a group of people who either live together or share a space like this that has a particular characteristic in common. A condition of sharing or having certain attributes and interests that are in common. And whilst we're a tarot community, I think it goes beyond that. I think it goes beyond, tarot. And without betraying any certain confidences, part of our discussion over the last 5 hours was around people that might not necessarily feel that tarot is the one thing that connects everybody together, that it's actually a meeting of minds or having lots of similarities in interest with each other. And my question to the community who are joining in with this chat is, what is it in particular that that makes you come back to all the different live streams or comment on all the pre-recorded videos? Is it purely your love of tarot, or is it about having a connection with individuals? And how do you have that connection with individuals that transcends the lens, the screen? What is it that makes this community so special that people feel that they have a real kinship with each other? Shane, is there anything you want to say at this point?
I mean, I guess I could go next because Elle seems to be having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
When I first kind of came into the community, I actually came in through my mom, who a lot of you know as Jen's Balance Tarot. She was gliding people and kind of creating her own channel, which was relatively new at the time. And I just kind of generically heard names and kind of caught wind of what decks were. And I cheesily got, let's see, my Magical Dogs Tarot was my first deck, and that started it all with my mom. But this community has been amazing from my first stream, coming in on Tarot Playdate to then being able to attend one of the Hermit's Cave live stream. Everyone is just instantly, hello, welcoming. And even if you feel like you don't know tarot very well, they're instantly like, here's some meanings, and you can connect. And with each card you connect, the more and more this rabbit hole goes. I thought, oh, maybe I can share a common interest with my mom, understand it, and look where I am now. I'm collecting decks. The last stream I was in, Simon made me do it already. So this community is amazing. It has definitely been one of the best I've ever come into. Definitely.
And what is it, Shane, about the community in particular where you feel that you belong or where you have a place? Because I know that you've got the common interest in tarot, and like you said, the Simon made me do it, and you've got the deck. But what is it about the community in particular where you feel that you have a voice or you have a place within it?
I have to say, it's, for me personally, it was, I didn't feel like I had to fight to be seen or to be understood. If I just was like, hey, I enjoy tarot, everyone instantly was welcoming and wanted to share with me their knowledge. It was all just very honest. It didn't feel like I was trying to break into any cliques or struggle to understand people. You had all ranges from new to experienced tarot readers. Even if I was just vaguely interested, they were willing to work with me all the way up into now that I'm, showing up here on making things for this whole community. Like that community excited and influenced my own excitement with this community. Just instantly jumping into it, people are loving and welcoming, and it just makes you want to get into it more. Instantly jumping into it,
sorry.
people are loving and welcoming, and it just makes you want to get into it more.
Oh, we get to hear Shay in stereo.
Oh, thanks. That's what I love.
Yeah, pay yourself back. Yeah, and that's really wonderful, because I often think about, you know, this community and people who have been here for a while and feel very comfortable within the community, but also those people who are relatively new and trying to get their voice heard within the community. And I guess for you, you had that added bonus because you got a link in with the community, which was through your mom.
Definitely.
You know, when I see comments from people who feel that their voice isn't heard in the community, I always feel that pang of, oh, I need to do more. You know, and if there is anybody here, particularly in the chats, who are joining in and really feel that they want to belong to a community, then I think it's the onus is on us to try and, you know, bring them in and recognize them and listen to what they've got to contribute, because, you know, we are really cogs in a huge wheel, you know, and we all need those individual voices and those individual personalities, if you like, to be able to contribute to that. Al, are you able to join us yet? Are you?
Well, I can hear everyone but Jen.
Can you hear me now?
That's a bit awkward. Yeah, she's just talking like words and I don't understand. Yeah, literally. So, you know, free for all, Jen. You can bitch about me. And
Oh.
Who else is?
Hi, Brian.
Surprise on us too.
Wait, sorry, what?
Who's the favorite now, Al?
Oh, it's
Can
about
you
to
hear
get
me, Brant? Can you hear
okay.
me?
We're about
About
to
to
have a
get
full-on
real
brawl.
sibling rivalry up in here.
This is going to get probably very noisy and very busy, but
And I
Brand
can't hear Mum to calm me down, so.
So can I highlight? I think we should
She's
highlight.
just
Can you
saying
guys hear me except for Elle? Everyone except for Elle can hear me. Brant, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear everyone because I got our shit together before I
So
entered.
I thought I would highlight
Should
a
I
couple
come
of
back?
comments.
Go away and come back?
A couple of comments that we've had.
I'm
So
gonna
from
try going away and coming back.
From Essence 818, it's tarot, the search for a sort of peace, shared somewhat feeling of isolation in this journey that's still so taboo. The laughter, the learning, the expanding on what you think you know. And earlier, Jen, Science to Soul, just said, you know, it's the friendships that mean community. She's leaving and coming back. I think that's a good plan. She can't hear anything. Okay, Corbin can hear me, so I think that's all right. But I just wanted to highlight a couple of those about, you know, people were making comments to answer that question about community.
Yeah, and Maya Spirit, a beautiful point. She says, Hermit's Cave, tarot community is like a quilting club. Not religious based, but everyone has the same passion for the craft. And at the same time, respecting individual spiritual or non-spiritual paths. And I think that's what's really unique about this community, is that we accept people unconditionally, whether they are pagan, whether they are Christian, whether they are Buddhist, whether they're Hindu, Sikh, it doesn't matter. You know, a community is made up of diverse people from various walks of life. We have similarities in common, which is divination, but, you know, we don't pass judgment on people because of the spiritual paths that they take. And we are all encompassing and we are all welcoming to all those different unique paths. And that, for me, is what sets this community apart from other communities, because it really is Idra's web, where, you know, we are a network across the globe. Doesn't matter what time zone we're in, what continent we're in. We talked about this a little bit earlier with Julie. You know, we're all encompassing, but at the same time, we allow people to be their authentic selves without passing any sort of judgment. And I think that's the true essence of community, is to, support each other, to be there for each other, and to nurture each other, and to have respect and dignity for each individual member, irrespective of who they are. Let me just let Elle back in. I think she's...
Oh yeah, let her back in. And so there's been, while you've been saying that, too, we have a comment from Marina K. We're all adding to the quilt. Love that. We were all sitting here kind of behind the scenes. We were having this love fest. No joke. It was really
gross
and corny. But we can't do it without the rest of you. Like, it's just such a... We were all expressing how much gratitude we have for everybody that's here, the connections that we've made, everybody being so welcome to Shane, who's really only been able to participate in a lot of the live chats in the last few weeks since being furloughed, thanks to COVID-19, and a lot of the restrictions that have been placed. But just seeing everybody from all corners of the world being able to connect on common ground. Can you hear me now, Al? Is that working out?
Yeah, thank goodness.
All of us?
Yeah. We was, like I said, we had a 5-hour telephone conversation, and we spoke about things that were quite raw, quite personal, but we felt we had a safe space in which to do that. And I think with this community in particular, whilst we are cognizant that what we are putting out is public, we still feel the safety and the harness of that community love and support, that we feel safe that we can come on and have this very honest and open discussion about what community means to each of us, because it is different to each of us. But at the same time, it's very much sort of, I don't know, I think we all, each of us come to it from a different perspective, but it's kind of, it's enabled us to be who we are on each of our different platforms. We've found a common interest and a common goal. Brant, you've just joined us, so welcome. Sorry to throw you straight into the mix. What's your thoughts? And hello to Connor, who's saying hi as well, who's just joined us.
Well, I haven't had 5 hours to think about it.
Neither did we.
I think for me, community is about people having like common interests and things that are similar to them. But more than that, I think it's about like everyone's differences and all sorts of different people kind of like existing among each other and finding things that are in common, even though you wouldn't expect them to be. And so for me, it's more about like celebrating the differences that everyone has and shares, and different experiences and different beliefs and different everything.
If I can say, Essence 818 had a post earlier in chat that says, rally around one another and try to make sure each knows that you're not alone. Energy is just as powerful as a physical touch, which this community for me has definitely done. And I feel like for a lot of people, is you come in to these streams, everyone says hello, and you instantly feel like you're connected to something. I think that was probably the easiest way that I got involved. Is I was like, oh, I'll go support my mom at her tarot playdate that I'm kind of interested in understanding. And the welcoming that I got was amazing. And then I was hooked. And then came Simon's, and just everything spiraled from there. I have more decks. I'm looking out for those. I'm looking out for crystals, and just anything that I can see that reminds me of this community or makes me want to like hold on to it for that happy thought is just instantly there and amazing, and I'm always looking for it now.
Yeah. So, looking at the comments which I'm reading here, Dawn says, I love this community. And I've posed the question as to why. And she's replied, you can let your hair down and be yourself without judgment. And that's everything, isn't it? That's what we were talking about earlier on our kind of aside from this live chat, with the fact that, you know, we accept each other for who we are, warts and all. You know, we accept each other's limitations, we accept each other's you know, our drives, passions, what we want to be. But it's the fact that, you know, we can just be ourselves in this community, whatever that might look like. And Melissa says, I'm so impressed that Shane got into this to support his mum. That's great parenting. And we've had the discussions about that. But, you know, Shane has come into this community, yes, because obviously his mum, Jen, introduced him to it. But also, you know, we're all mindful of the fact that, you know, parents and kids can't force people to do what they don't want to do, you know, and there has to be an interest there. So, I mean, Shane, is it a case that you're here because of your mom, or because you found something within this community that you can, you know, identify with or feel a part of?
It was definitely sparked by my mom. To throw her under the bus a little bit, originally as a kid, she didn't really seem to have many interests. And then she found tarot. She found tarot. She was a single mom. Props to her. She found this interest in this community, and I saw her just her whole life just amazing. And I wanted to just like understand it and be able to support her. You know, I bought her a deck that she doesn't really work with. And then it was not used last tarot play date, actually. And then, you know, for Christmas, I thought I'd be good and go on my own hunt for her deck and ignore her Christmas wish list, and bought her that, which she already had. I tried. But it started with that. And then I came in and I was instantly able to start exploring my own spiritual path, which I mean is kind of right here behind me, is something I'm toying with. I'm still really new, like a lot of people here are. And then I found a deck, and then, you know, just watching Simon's live stream, like I have said probably a million times already, I found this deck, which just has been amazing. This is the Golden Thread Tarot, by the way. They're currently taking pre-orders. This one was thankfully hunted down by our very own Moon Baby, who is somewhere on the screen.
He's below me too.
I was like, he's below me, but I don't know where he actually is for most people.
The guy who finds any deck you want.
It's amazing. He's magic. But he found me this, and I have absolutely gushed over it for the past however long I've had it. It feels like years, but it's been like days. But being able to connect with something, and it gives you a whole new understanding of your own, like a whole new connection of your own. Yes, you can be inspired by people, but it is so easy to find your own path in it that I just adore it and recommend it to anyone who will listen.
Yeah. And that's what's really amazing. I just want to pick up on Lunar Eclipse. She says, what I love about this group is that there is no judgment or negativity. I think within all communities, if we're honest, you know, there are always going to be those times where we're challenged or we're triggered, or where people will say things that we perhaps might not be comfortable with. But what I find about this community is that we can air that, and we can say, you know, particularly, I don't agree. But what I've found about this community on the whole, and there's always going to be exceptions to that, is that we can agree to disagree on things. We can find the common ground, the thing that unites us, the thing that connects us, but still live our own authentic lives. And as I said earlier, you know, there are people in this group, and Claire won't mind me saying, you know, Claire is a Catholic. She goes to mass, and her faith is really important to her. I'm Buddhist, you know, and there are people of so many different spiritual groups, but we don't always agree on everything. But what we have, I feel, as a community, is that tolerance and that acceptance, and we find commonalities that connect us rather than focus on the differences that separate us. Would you say that was fair?
Yeah.
So I'd really like to hear, and I think a lot of people here are really waiting for you to speak up. Based on what's
Like, she's so
happening.
quiet.
Yeah, you're so quiet. Tell us what you think, darling.
Wow. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've just had a bottle of wine and cider. So I mean,
We all have.
I don't know how much sense you're gonna get out of me. But wait, what was the question again?
What do you think about this community?
I mean, it's alright, you know. No,
Now you know why she's quiet, folks.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like brought me the family I feel I wish I had growing up, and I think I found tarot at a time I really needed it for my mental health, and I kind of thought it was just going to be a journey, you know, just me myself, and just, you know, see where it turns out. But I think it was a real bonus to find people who I literally look up to as parental figures, as brothers, as, you know, I've found a family and I've found a support system. Like, I've literally got tarot aunties now, tarot. Have I got tarot nephews? Probably not tarot nephews yet. We'll save that for down the line.
One can only hope.
Yeah, someone will have a nephew or something for me, you know, just, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I love this community. It's great. Yeah.
Sunday's Child of Light says as well, I love the connection Shane has with his mom. My daughter has joined me on this journey, and I'm really enjoying it. So, you know, I think it is lovely that there is that real strong bond between the two of you, you know, and the fact that you might have been the catalyst that brought Shane into the community, but he is really finding his own feet as well, isn't he?
Well, and I think that's how it's supposed to be, right? You know, we all have a reason that we started. Somebody showed us, or we saw something, or whether we saw it on television or through a family member or through a friend, right? And then you're like, whoa, that's really cool. And, you know, so we latch on to that, and then we find our own path through it. So I don't expect that Shane and my path will be the same. But what's really cool now is we'll be able to share the things that we have in common. We can learn together, we can grow together, just like I have with all of you. You know, it's, you know, whether it's like I'm getting on a video chat with Elle and we're practicing our Lenormand readings, or, you know, like we were doing earlier, we're practicing reading for each other. But it's finding that common ground, but it goes beyond tarot into who we want to be as people and how we want to move through this world in a way that's loving and respectful of other people. And that's, to me, where I have found the greatest sense of community and connection. And not everybody moves through this world the same way. And we're not always going to connect with everybody just because we love tarot. But I mean, what a fantastic common ground this has been.
Absolutely. Yeah. Melissa said, so if Simon and Jen are Elle's tarot mum and dad, and Shane is tarot brother, how does Brant fit into this family dynamic? Do you want to answer that, Brant?
So for a minute, I thought Brant would be my little brother, but, you know, I'd happily adopt you, Brant. I'm just saying, like, if you want another tarot mom, I might be a little young.
Well, I don't think of you and Simon as being old enough to be my parents.
Thank you for that.
You are.
Good point. point.
I never thought about that. I never thought about it like that.
To be fair, Brant, I don't class you as a son as well, because you're very old for your years. I think you're an old soul type of person. So I see you as an equal rather than a parent
I'm
child.
totally fine with that. I just don't want to look old.
Jamie suggests he's the crazy cousin, and I think that's a really good way to go. Or the deck dealer, as somebody else said.
Oh, okay. I can't just be the deck dealer.
I'm sorry, but
Crazy
the
cousin
Tokwitch,
it is, then. Crazy cousin it is.
the Tokwitch said, "Is he somebody's illegitimate love child?" And that's why I had to just stop myself from laughing a second ago.
Okay.
I wish I could hear what Brant was saying. I'm sure it's
Oh,
funny.
you still can't hear him.
No.
What is with Elle? She's having a problem child, I swear.
I don't want to risk it, because what if I can't hear someone else when I come back in? I'll just leave
So
it. I'll just wait here,
Sundays-
Brant.
Oh,
He's the
sorry,
cousin,
Elle.
Rude.
So Sunday's Child of Light asks if Shane and I have similar tastes in tarot decks or just different. So Shane's just getting started. I have very eclectic tastes, but I will say that so far the decks that Shane has picked aren't necessarily ones that I have. So Shane,
Shane has great taste in tarot decks.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you're
And
interested,
expensive taste.
I was like, if you're interested in the decks I have, I mean, I have all of 4 tarots and 4 oracle decks.
That's respectable.
And this is fairly new, to be fair. For my tarot decks, I have the Golden Thread, which is my newest one and is currently my child. This is so important to me. I haven't been able to put it down. I adore this deck. My very first tarot deck, which my mom got me when we went to a Barnes & Noble, was the Magical Dogs Tarot. Very cute. Sometimes a little bit hard to read, but overall very well. Very good. And then the second deck I had is the Mystical Manga Tarot, because I am an anime nerd. And then my other one I got was also a gift from my mom after she went to Newt's, which is Northwest Tarot Symposium?
Yep.
Which was the Ostara Tarot, which I've worked with a little bit more as a gift for sure. But this was the Golden Thread Tarot was one I picked out myself. So this is more along the lines of my taste.
Yeah.
She has a whole lot of decks. Some that I like, some that I'm on. But I definitely, amongst all these tarot wizards here, as I like to call them, have been exposed to many different decks and have kind of helped refine my own tastes, which I think are very picky, actually.
So what would you say is the difference then, Shane, from having a deck that's bought for you from actually choosing one yourself? What makes the deck more important to you, having chosen a deck that you feel speaks to you?
Ooh, well, that's a little bit tricky. So the Magical Dogs, let me make sure I'm making that right. Yeah, the Magical Dogs Tarot, my mom and I found first in Barnes & Noble, very easy to find. But I was looking at it and she was like super into decks. Ooh, I gotta find which one I like. What's here? What can I find? And I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. And I looked at it, and I have always loved dogs as long as I've could remember. But I've always loved dogs. I'm like, all right, here's something that I love and what my mom is enjoying in this, so I can kind of help connect and can kind of understand her and what she's talking to, like her community like. And then through it all, through watching lives and walkthroughs, now that I'm binging tarot YouTube, I've looked at decks and I'm like, oh, I really like that art, but I don't know if I would work with it. And then it goes to, oh, I really love how this reads, but I'm not a big fan of the art. And then you, Simon, you did your, what was it, the 5 underappreciated decks. And you flipped this out and you had, I'm going to ooze over this deck. So sorry. You just showed one of these cards And I'm just going to show, oh, there's a good one. These cards, they're very shiny. They're black and gold, which is aesthetically super pleasing to me. And they have shine to them. I love the art style. Very simple, yet it has all of those imagery and factors that I need to be able to understand the card while also just being to my taste. So having a deck bought for you is definitely very important to you because someone gifted it to you. But being able to pick a deck that you connect with is a feeling I didn't know until recently. It makes it really feel yours, and it drives this whole new deck buying bug that my mom now knows I have. Moon Baby now has inspired. Thank you. And my fiance does not like that I have. It sparks a whole new love for the tarot. I feel like it is incredible. And if you have a deck bought for you, I definitely recommend going and finding a deck that you connect with. I hunted through so many decks thinking, maybe I like it, maybe I don't. And I landed on this one and I'm in love. It's ridiculous.
It's really cute.
It is.
That's interesting because I have like the same. Well, I guess because I'm used to buying all my decks myself, which is kind of boring after a while. But I guess when I got like a deck as a gift, like the Whispering Spirits, like this is really special. Because I was gifted this by Jen, Tarot Mother. And so yeah, I kind of feel all like mushy and gooey about this deck because it was gifted to me. So yeah, I don't know, I just found that interesting hearing you like gush over a deck that you could choose yourself, whereas I guess I'm in like the complete opposite position. But yeah, it's good both ways. I like yeah.
I have to steal it away again just for the comments because I looked over and saw them. Jamie Marshall Lawson, my fiance, Jen's Balanced Tarot talks about him, my son to be, say, hey, it's not my fault. You need DP, save up, sir. I didn't realize he was here. Now I'm in trouble.
Hi, Jamie.
And then the artistry of tarot says, Shane, do not let Brant talk you into collecting. I'm so sorry. I'm already doomed. He had a Dirty Pam, which I'm now getting from him. So I'm already absolutely in that boat. Try not to be, but it's inevitable, I feel like. Once you find decks that are for you and you find that first one, you're doomed. I'm so sorry.
Okay, Simon will relate to this. He had to have that Dirty Pam because he doesn't like the RWS, and when I was showing it to him in L, okay, he likes it. He hasn't found one that he likes enough to have it. Anyway, the point is he had to have an RWS.
Everybody has an RWS.
I hurt both Simon and Brant when we were talking aside, saying I adore the RWS, the art of it, but I'm not a big fan of the bright yellow, which opinions and that plays into things. But I can't stand the bright yellow. I personally am not a yellow guy. And I was talking to Brant, and Brant's like, whoa, I got you. And he goes and he pulls out one of his Dirty Pams and he starts showing me the yellow's muted, the blues pop, and I'm like, oh no. So here I go after saying, oh, RWS is fine. I love it. I like it. But I haven't really found one that connects with me. And then, after hurting Brett and Simon, he goes, this one. And then I was doomed. Doomed.
Poor Elle was like, I don't have it. I kind of want it too. And I was like, oh, well.
Well, that's why it's great that there's so many different versions of the RWS. Simon's.
And I'm like, what does Simon have?
It's the Dirty Pam custom box.
I'm a little jealous. The fact that Shane got this before me, Brant, we'll have words later. Let's just say.
You're a blushing fool.
Hey, and bonus, Shane got bonus points because he said he loved the borders.
Oh.
I have to say, those borders on the Dirty Pam, something about it just makes it hot. I love it.
Thank you.
So Simon, you earlier asked kind of the people in the chat, what does community mean to you? And I think we've had a lot more comments. Do we want to highlight some of those?
Yeah, so Marion K. Tarot says, the Hermit's Cave, Simon, community to me is a safe place where you feel free to express yourself without judgment. And that is so important, isn't it? And where you have support on your own personal path. So absolutely, a safe space where you can be who you are authentically, you can speak your truth without fear of any sort of criticism or judgment, and that you can have other people around you to support you on your progression and on your path. Zane says, community to me is a group of people from all walks of life coming together and standing behind one another with unconditional love and support. This community means the world to me and never ceases. And I just think those two comments alone epitomize for me why this community in particular is unique, because like I said earlier, we are from all different walks of life, not just from different countries or different cultures or from different spiritual paths, but we all seem to embrace each other non-judgmentally with a common a common thread, which is around divination and cartomancy in particular.
Yeah, and we had a few more comments too here. So let's see here. We had one of Jamie Kelly said it means coming together with a common interest in building on those relationships through conversation and life events. We come from all over, but connect with respect, humor, and Dex. It is joy, right? And remembering that that's why we're coming together to share that joy, I think is really important. And then Jen at Science to Soul also said, community to me is in its simplest form about being amongst those where there exists mutual respect, common passions, and true supportive friendship. Even with these people, like there are people here in the chat that I don't necessarily have known before, and seeing the comments and seeing new people be able to participate who usually can't, because this is a very strange time of day for a live chat. Like we're already being able to include more people who maybe normally can't come to the normal, Simon, your cup of ketchup and cards that's in the morning, or or in your afternoon, my morning, right? Or tarot play date or whatever it might be. And I really appreciate getting to see more comments from people that we don't always get to see and hear from.
Yeah. So Poets Corner says, hi, I know the chat can move quite fast. So I'll post again. So I think this has been posted a couple of times. Like the conversation so far, was wondering, does not seem peculiar to you that there aren't so many people of color in the community?
Oh, here you go.
No, go on now.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel, I think it depends. I think for me personally, I did find that at one point. I think I had to really look at who I was following, and really make sure I'm curating who I'm following, who I'm connecting with, because I do want to include all walks of life into my kind of feed and get understand people from all walks of life and get their content and learn all I can learn. So I feel like in that sense, I personally feel like I do see people of color, but again, it is an issue not just within the tarot community, tarot in general, in society in general. There's not enough people of color being represented, people of the LGBTQ plus community not being represented. I think it's kind of I don't know. Yeah.
I can remember probably about 2 years ago now, somebody, and I'm not going to mention any names, but somebody commented and said, when you do your catching up with series, why is it that there aren't people of colour that you are interviewing? And my only response that I could give to that was that I don't select people to interview. One of the golden rules I have is if anybody wants to be interviewed on the Hermit's Cave channel, then they request an interview, you know, so it's down to the individual, because I don't want to be seen as selecting people from particular either ethnic backgrounds or from, you know, socioeconomic backgrounds, or, you know, from a particular gender or sexual orientation. I love to talk to people from diverse backgrounds. I think that's so enriching, you know, particularly for my channel, to be able to speak to people from all different walks of life. So my only golden rule really is if you want to be interviewed, then hook me up and let's do it, you know. I don't select people to interview. So if there are people who in the community feel that they aren't represented, then come forward, you know, and put yourself forward. We will happily embrace you, listen to you, you know, share your thoughts, your ideas, your culture. More than happy to do that.
And thanks to Corvin, they've mentioned some people of colour within the tarot community for people to follow. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And
yeah, you know, there are a few channels that I like to follow as well, and you know, and I think if you're looking for suggestions, I certainly think that a lot of people here in the chat, as well as we, could direct you to those channels. We're not here to necessarily just come watch us. You know, we really want to talk about what it is to let everybody feel included and give everybody a space to be able to talk about what this means, because we were all talking earlier about how important that's been to us on our journey, and having those people that we could connect with in that way has really been instrumental. So being able to pay that forward to me personally, and I can't speak for everybody else, but I feel somewhat safe that I can, is really, really important.
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean, and as you know, like white people, you know, there's only so much we can really comment on. I don't really feel like it's our place in a way to kind of talk about, you know, share our opinion to a point, in terms of I don't want to kind of erase or, you know, take up space for people who, you know, then need to have their voice shared. So, you know, people of color and stuff. So, yeah.
Shane is half a person of color, is a person of color here in this chat.
Oh, and sorry, I've just
I
Shane.
You know, I look real one way. I definitely have quite a lot of cultural
diversity,
hodgepodge, melting pot mix on my father's side for sure. So maybe we don't always look it, but we do have that in us. Not as much as I can say. I like, if I cut real quick, let's see. Connor Gibbon says, this also begs the question of how many people of color, LGBTQ+, etc., creators putting themselves out there, how many are active, maybe there's another sphere of interaction that they are part of. Maybe we just need to find them a little bit more, because I'm sure they're definitely out there. I mean, I'm definitely LGBTQ+. So sorry. I'm definitely
may or may not have
LGBT.
anything to do with the drinks earlier tonight, right?
LGBT, I have, you know, history with other things, so maybe we don't always appear to be or not as strongly as a part of another thing, if that makes sense. But there's definitely a lot maybe that, you know, you can't see surface level that there is more of. But I definitely think it's important to make sure that everyone has their say. And I feel like in this community, especially, anyone who wants to be here can be here. I don't feel like there's any stigmas or criterias. I'm saying if you want to come on YouTube and maybe do a live and be like, hey, this is me and this is what I love and these are my opinions, the group is going to accept you. So if you honestly feel like you want to share, then share. It's gonna be, you're gonna be rewarded. You're gonna have people who are with you and who maybe see the same or who can offer you different advice. I absolutely adore that I can say, hey, this is what I see in a card. And then, you know, Simon can say he loves a certain thing of a card. And, You know, Jen Balance Tarot, my mom can say she sees this in a card, and then Elle can say she sees this in a card, and Brant, you know, just can say he sees a thing in a card. Everyone's view is slightly different, and it gives you so much more than what you can see yourself. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And can I just say to all the UK people who are here in the chat, like Jackie and Connor, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's just so impressive that you're still here with us. I just want to read a few comments that are just wonderful. So Kristen says, the fact that even when conflict arises, we can come out the other side without toxicity or lasting tension. And Angeline Marie says, I'm pretty new to this community. And I think it's always important to listen to the voice of the people who are new to the community. But I find comfort in finding people who have similar interests, because sometimes it's hard to connect, to find people where you live. And that's what the online community brings. You know, we're talking about community here. And in this world that we're living in now, the community is global, isn't it? You know, it's very hard to find kindred souls within your immediate physical environment, but it's easier now to put a few, you know, taps on the keyboard and find people that you can have a kinship with. So that's really important. I'm just seeing if there's any other comments to read out. One thing I've noticed, this is from Butterfly. One thing I've noticed about creators in this community is the level of sensitivity. Tend to be people who have many emotional bruises and persecution, but have turned that to a desire to heal and help. And I think, again, that's what we was talking about off camera earlier, about our own journeys through life and the things that we've gone through that shaped us into the people that we are now, and how we therefore have an empathy, I suppose, for other people who are coming behind us that are going through similar experiences. You know, we can empathize because we've been through it ourselves, and we can shine that light, and we can say, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I understand the difficulties that you're facing because I've been there too. You know, so I think that's quite important. Any other comments that anybody has picked up?
Well, one of the things that I'm really noticing throughout the comments is everybody is starting to talk about their backgrounds and where they come from and their ethnicities and their differences, but how they're finding this common ground in the tarot community. And just, I already feel like just reading these comments as Simon has been, you know, sharing these things, I feel like I'm getting to know you even better right here in this spur of the moment, crazy live chat that we're doing. And I just want to thank you all for sharing that, because I really think that that just makes me feel even more connected to the people here, even though maybe you're expressing things that are more different. So thank you for sharing.
And Lucian from Cross Paths, well, it's either Lucian or Dave, one of the two, but he said it's interesting because I feel that tarot community transcends skin color or race. It's about embracing things that we have in common. We embrace our uniqueness and personalities, which is beautiful. You know, and that's true, you know, because the one thing about this community, until we really get to know people, is we see keystrokes, you know, we see channel names, we see typed messages. We don't actually see people, or, you know, whether they're male, female, or, you know, whether they're from a particular ethnic background or a sexual orientation or a gender identity. We just see, you know, keystrokes, and we start to build a mental image and a character. But, you know, the one thing that we have connecting us all is divination or tarot, you know, or oracle or whatever it is. But we find that commonality first, irrespective of differences that we might have, which almost becomes secondary, if that makes sense, because we found something that connects us, which is irrespective of those differences.
I'd also like to highlight a comment that Nina and Shuffle Tarot made here. You know, she says, this community has changed my life. As someone who suffers from autoimmune issues and is often housebound and sometimes bedbound, the wonderful people of this community has been a lifeline. And I think a lot of people who maybe couldn't relate to that before, now in this time of this pandemic, a lot of us are more housebound, and not for the same reasons. And it's not the same, and I'm not trying to put it on the same page, but I think recognizing that this has been a lifeline for a lot of people, but it's also, you know, something to remember that even when this is all over, there are still people who need those connections and who really look outside, need to be able to find a way to look outside, and we want to always be welcoming of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor says, if you think about this community as a pocket dimension where we can all go to discuss topics without causing backlash, it's something so special. We build each other up. We reach middle grounds. And I think that's quite important to recognize that whilst differences exist, we find the commonalities. We find the things that unite us, not the things that separate us.
And I learn a lot from different people every day. You know, I purposefully try to watch people who have a different life than me, who come from a different background than me. I try to connect with people because I feel like you can never stop learning, right? You can never stop growing and learning how to relate to people who've had different experiences than your own, so that we're all more sensitive to that.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, you gonna say something?
Thought thingy up before, which I'm hovering my chat over, says tarot tells a story. We all have stories, and the tarot brings those stories together like a tapestry. And I absolutely love that. I love that as I'm reading in the chat here, which is why I'm smiling every now and then like a complete dork, is that I can see and read how much heart this community just even right now is pouring out. And I love it. You know, I just love seeing people's stories. And this is things like, you know, they don't have to share, but they choose to share. And things we don't always see is we have no idea how many people are dealing with what or what, you know, from where, but we're all united under, you know, tarot, but then other things like oracles and Lenormand and everything else that we have here. But everyone is just so willing to share themselves. And I love it so much.
Yeah. And like, considering there's so many people and so many people are sharing their stuff, at the same time, I've never felt so heard before. And you would think that was really hard to achieve because, I mean, I don't know how many people are in chat, like maybe 100 or something, or maybe, I don't know, I can't see. Maybe I'm overestimating the stats. But like, yeah, just hearing people... Oh, but just hearing people share their stories and seeing people respond. And yeah, I mean, I come from a family that, you know, we don't necessarily share things so openly and have such a open way of responding and knowing how to deal with hardships. But I think for me, it's been like a real healing process to be able to have a safe space where I can share my stuff and feel really heard and really supported. And yeah, it's really special. I've never sort of experienced it before, so it's nice.
That's wonderful. It's really wonderful. Amethyst Ascension, Rochelle said, the ability to connect with so many wonderful people from all over the world and learn and grow about them is absolutely remarkable. And that's why I love doing the Catching Up With series, which I've been doing for 2 years now. You know, from people from all walks of life, from Darpan, who I remember who talked about her Hindu faith, from Jilly just today talking about Buddhism, from, you know, the witches that I've met and the Christians that I've met, and all these diverse people from all different walks of life. It is so enriching just to take a bit of them and learn about their life and their path and realize that we have so much more in common than what divides us. That for me is the real sort of Idra's web that connects us, that makes us realize that we have, you know, this interconnectedness, this similarity between all of us that keeps us all, you know, connected together.
If I can read another comment, there's Biffy Rose. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I hope I did. That says, there's a gentleness and kindness here that is beautiful. From a painfully shy person, it's perfect. I completely agree. I personally am more of an introvert, even though who knows how it looks like right now. But those people who are willing to share and willing to kind of take that brave step to kind of share their opinions, this is where the community, I feel like, is really born from. Everyone is able to have their say, which I know we've said a whole bunch, but from extroverts to introverts, no matter who you are, you're all still heard, and I love it so much. There was also someone who said that they would join me in dorkiness. Sorry, I think it was Jamie Kelly. Chat scrolled fast. Yeah, being a dork, being a nerd like me. I mean, if you can't tell by all of my shenanigans over here on my wall, anyone is welcome, and it's so amazing because, you know, I'm in awe of Jen's Balance Tarot and Simon, and I feel like, whoa, like when I saw these people, I'm like, I gotta binge their channels, I gotta watch everything, I gotta know everything. Being little and not knowing much, look where I am. I'm apparently here.
How did that happen?
But everyone gets their chance. Everyone gets their say. I'll say it a million times over. I love it to death.
Yeah, you're very much here, Shane. You know, you're very much part of the community. Susie says, the fact that this conversation is even taking place right here, right now, in the time it is taken, personifies community. Lovely to see, you know, and thank you, Sue, because that was our intention when we decided to come on and do the live tonight, is because we were talking over the last few hours about, you know, the interconnectedness that we have and how we found each other through, you know, this platform, but how that is a microcosm of the macrocosm of which this community is. You know, may just want to come on and just kind of talk about why we found something quite special, and our hopes that you found something quite special too.
I'm gonna throw Moon Baby under the bus. He hasn't talked a lot. Let's hear from you.
No pressure, Brant.
Hear what?
You what?
I keep like reading the chat, hearing us gush. Like, what are your opinions? Maybe something that struck you.
Brant, shall we do Islands in the Stream?
Oh no, y'all have had 5 hours of drinking. I have not. Well, for starters, I wouldn't have guessed that you are an introvert, Shane, because you are very chatty.
I've had help.
Not every time I've talked to you.
I'm what I call an extroverted introvert. When I have people who I feel close to, such as this community, I'm extroverted. If you were to find me anywhere else, I would be in a corner, on my phone, in a book, in a game. I'm a total gamer nerd. I'd be shut out to the world. But here, where I feel connected, I'm eager to share. I'm happy to share. I want to share. But yes, I'm actually an introvert, except for apparently here on YouTube, where you're going to be able to view this forever.
Don't remind me that.
The internet is forever.
I think it's a common feeling, though, in the community. I think a lot of us would say that we were introverted outside of this. And then Elle looks like she's listening to me, but I know she can't hear me, and it's making me want to laugh because her face looks like she can hear me.
She's like, uh-huh, uh-huh.
It's nice.
Rand's calling you out, Elle.
I was just gonna say that I feel like there are a lot of great people of color that have YouTube channels and stuff, but I think that it's a little bit unfair to say that it's like disproportional overall, because there are so many, like, we don't know how many people are watching this that don't make content at all, or that maybe don't even have a YouTube, like they don't even have a YouTube account, because you don't really need one. I mean, you can just jump on YouTube and search. So I think there are probably a lot more people of color in the community than you might think, is what I was thinking like 20 minutes ago when we were talking about that.
One thing that I would say too is we want to, if there is a perception out there, anything that we can do, to help people feel like they have a voice, that they don't have to be quiet, anything that we can do to help change that perception. If reality is different than that, then, I'd like to say that I support that. And I would think that everybody here in this little Brady bunch does,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Becca is really good at that. Like when someone, every time I've seen in Becca's chat where someone says that they are maybe a little frustrated that she didn't notice their comment or something like that, she's very quick to be like, I'm so sorry, it was going really fast, I didn't notice. Like, she addresses it pretty much right then. And I think that's a good practice to have for people that have lives. And I feel like the community is pretty understanding even about that, because it is sometimes hard, especially in like one of your lives, Simon, or Becca's, where there's like, I mean, sometimes there are like over 100 people in your lives. Like, it's got to be difficult for you to be thinking about what you're supposed to be talking about, and also keeping up with people that might be saying things to you. And so I think it's nice that the community understands that too.
Yeah, and it can be really challenging. And I spoke to Becca today about it, actually, because I think she really did have a hard time about the fact that people were missed. And, Becca had in her chat 82 people the other night, and the chat was scrolling really fast, because the way Becca does her chats is it's a dialogue. When I do my chats, I tend to have a theme, so I'm concentrated on the theme. And on Friday, yesterday in particular, or no, it's Sunday now, isn't it? But on Friday, there was 149 people in my chat. And it's impossible to welcome everybody and spot every comment whilst you're focusing on the thing that you're talking about. So you can preface it by saying, welcome to everybody. But I also get that it's really frustrating, because I've been there too, where you go into somebody's chat and you comment and nobody picks up on it. It can be really disheartening, particularly if you're the sort of person where when you are commenting, it's out of your character. You're kind of testing the boundaries for the first time, and to be overlooked or you feel that you're being ignored, although it's not intentional, it can be quite soul destroying. So it's a real fine balance, and the danger between a live broadcast and a pre-recorded video is, with a pre-recorded, you can go in afterwards and heart all the comments and send something back. But in the moment, like we are now, with 84 people watching, it's impossible, because I've got the chat paused at the moment because there's a comment I want to respond to then try and catch up with everybody.
You can do that?
And you can just move your chat down to the comment and it won't.
And it'll say?
Yeah.
If you scroll it, we're teaching Grant some things.
I hate to do it, but I will be right back. So sorry.
That's okay. So I'm pausing on the comment that Jonathan Daly has said at 3:09. It's now 3:15. So it was 6 minutes ago. So there's 6 minutes worth of chat that's builded up for me. So it's really hard to try and get through everybody's comments. So I understand that people feel that they've been left out or ignored, but it's never intentional, because we welcome everybody. If we didn't welcome everybody, they wouldn't be part of this chat. They would have been, banned because they.
What would be the point?
Yeah.
It's funny because like in Tarot Playdate, which I do tomorrow. Sorry, I hope you don't mind that I'm saying that here on your channel.
No,
so That's my experience with live. Let me just self-promote, but that's my experience with live chats. And I've actually gotten in trouble because I work so hard to make sure that I don't miss comments. And a lot of times, you know, I have quite a few moderators who actually come every week to the chat, and they're highlighted. And I actually tend to miss their comments because I'm working so hard to make sure that I'm not just focused on the people that are moderators in the chat. And sometimes, like Shane, my son, who just left the room, he's like, Mom, are you ignoring me?
Yeah.
It's really hard to get that balance. But, you know, I'm impressed, Simon, because you have, you know, 100, 120 people sometimes in the chats, and the fact that you get as many as
anyone. You never miss anyone.
I do.
Like, rarely.
I don't realize until because I always watch my live broadcast back, probably the next day, and I see so many comments and think, oh, I wish I'd seen that, you know, or I wish I'd responded to that. But particularly with Throwback Thursday, when I'm focusing on a particular deck, I'm not looking at the chat because you can't, me particularly, I can't do that sort of multitasking from talking about a subject or showing the deck and reading the comments. So, you know, if there's a particular question, I ask that people highlight it in some way or that moderators bring it back to me. But invariably, there's always somebody that gets missed. But I just want people to know that you are part of the community and it's never deliberate. But Jonathan Daly, I just wanted to mention his point. He says, the thing that I love about this community is that we can disagree and be okay with that without argument or hurt feelings. And this is something that we've been through quite a journey with in the Hermit's Cave in particular over the last 7 days, is, you know, that people don't always agree. And that can be quite healthy to have that discussion where, you know, whilst we've got things in common as a community, things that unite us, there will invariably be differences because we're all coming from different paths, and we're all coming from different lifestyles, and it's okay to be able to say, do you know what? I don't agree with you, but as long as we're always trying to find a common ground, as long as we're having respect from the other people as to where they are in their life path, then I think that's healthy. What we don't tolerate is, you know, outright nastiness or ripping people apart, because nobody's got time for that. But what we have to accept is that not everybody's going to agree with us, but that's healthy too. And both parties can grow from that.
Oh my God, I nearly just took a sip out of the candle.
Don't do that.
That's twice tonight, folks.
What
That
was
was once on camera, once
No.
off of camera. This girl needs help.
One less glass of
I was
wine.
looking at myself and
One
being
less
vain.
wine.
My God.
Connor says, I just want to when you're around people that aren't on your wavelength, that inhibits your excitement and passion, everyone here is in tune with one another. We're inhibited and free to speak unrelentingly. And that's really nice to know that somebody like Connor, you know, is able to feel that they've found a space in which they can speak unrelentingly, you know, even if people aren't on the same wavelength, that there is that mutual respect and tolerance in place.
Yeah. Rochelle Amethyst Ascension says, I find that talking about our differences can help us grow and learn as long as we do it in a respectful manner. Right? I mean, that right there. You know, it's like, please share. Please let me understand. Please help me know where you're coming from if it's different than where I'm coming from. You know, I want to know that. Are you
I'm going to be really rude. I'm going to be really rude. I'm thirsty.
I hope that's water.
Wine. I need some
That's
stuff.
water.
Oh, that one's water. The other one's.
I mean,
Anyway.
I thought she
continue.
was
Sorry,
down a
carry
second
on.
ago.
Don't mind me.
I think people are just surprised you're so quiet because you're used to her being so active in the chats, right? She's like,
Yeah,
Yes.
If you saw me a few hours, I was active.
Yeah.
I was loving life.
If she could turn filters on right now, let's just say.
Well, it'll be a little world of my own.
Can I?
Our Jackie, your mother, Elle, is asking, is that water?
That's what I
Yes,
said.
it is. Thank you very much. What do you think I am at? What's the time? At
Jackie should just
3,
go
what is
into
it?
that
What is
room,
the time?
Jackie.
I
Go
don't
check
even know
on
the time.
her.
3 o'clock
Take
in the
whatever
morning.
else she
I
has.
would never.
Can I
It's awesome.
just like steal it away for just a minute? I know we were talking about differences and opinions and people sharing different things. Because I cannot gush over this deck apparently enough.
She's very excited about his new deck.
Apparently I might like my new deck. One of the things, just like for example about opinions, is earlier today I had drew the 5 of Cups in the Golden Thread Tarot, and it was this image here. And you know, Jen's Balanced Tarot and Simon the Hermit's Cave had all these different appearances and views. And when I had done a little showing of this deck, because I couldn't help myself off camera, I had noticed that this particular image, this particular person in the deck, most people show up kind of like this, like just a generic kind of happy face. But in this particular card, see if I can count, the 9 of Cups, the 9 of Cup cards, here it was, in my opinion, this person showed up again. Now that was something that I saw, and that they, maybe not right away saw, but like having people being able to see different things is incredible, and different opinions. And I know I gushed about that again. But just, it is so important that our community can see different things, because we can all grow and learn and adapt and share, and I just love it to death.
And you made me cry with those cards. How dare you? My own tarot brother.
Yeah, we're watching the future tonight. People are asking what you're doing now. Mendes like, what the hell is Elle doing? And also, who else is asking what you're doing?
What do you mean? What am I doing?
Jen from Science to Soul Tarot, they're all saying, what the hell is Elle doing? I missed it.
I'm chilling out, I'm in
That's
bed.
funny.
You're in bed with
You
me.
should just
jammies.
No, you got a
We've
video
got
chat with her
peach
more.
and passion fruit, sparkling water. We're just having a great time. I'm just chilling.
She still can't hear you, Grant, right?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Can
I'm
someone
sorry, am I
relay the
talking
message?
over him?
Like, can we put subtitles
Keep
on?
talking over him. La, 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 la.
One at a time, guys. So, sorry, Bram, what did you say?
I was just saying, like, if you think that this is crazy movement from Elle, you should video chat with her more often, because half the time it's like you're looking at the ceiling or like a wall or a rat, or like it's almost never. Another favorite of Elle is this, like over the top of her head. Like, it's hilarious chatting with her. And she mostly listens.
Mostly.
Hi to Alana. She says, hi, Simon and Jen, and the new faces I have never seen before. Cool tarot party. So hello to Alana. It's good to see you.
Hello. It's very impromptu tonight.
This
I
was
think I saw Robin step into the room and he's like, what is going on?
It's like 3 a.m, isn't it? Yes, it is.
I'm here.
5 a.m.
Oh, goodness.
Simon, is it 3 a.m. over there? What am I seeing? Says Robin. It is 3:25. We're not sleepy, so we just thought we'd come on and have a bit of a discussion. But welcome to everybody. We're going to wrap it up soon, but it was just nice to kind of continue our discussion, I think, and bring it into the wider community to get your thoughts as well.
I've loved hearing Brant's opinions. They've really changed my life.
You'll hear them later.
You can't even hear. Well, we were really talking about, what this community has meant to us, what our tarot journeys have meant to us, talking about all the different points that we are on our journeys. And we're all like across the map as far as how long we've been engaged with tarot, with this community and YouTube. It was really nice to see you, Connor. I haven't seen you chat in ages. So thanks for being here. So we just wanted to share the love. We thought, why should we hoard this all to ourselves?
Yeah.
Why poured Elle after a bottle of wine? Like, let's let her loose.
And let's stick Elle live after a bottle of wine. It's always a good idea.
A whole bottle?
I might have killed my bottle as
Was it a whole
well.
bottle?
Just to notice, I might have
Oh,
also killed my bottle.
Oh, my
Your glass was huge, Shane. That glass is like the size of your head.
I had 2, Brant.
2 bottles? What?
But I'm not 4. It doesn't have the same effect.
You might regret this later when you watch it back. You're like, did I really say that?
We'll all be watching back when we're all a little better.
I would
I
have
don't
opened
even
a
know
bottle.
this camera straight. Like, what even? Like,
Melissa says Elle needs a channel where she chats after wine.
that would be dangerous.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
would be
it's
very
so much
dangerous.
fun.
It would be so dangerous.
That'll be really fun.
I don't think she would be everyone's favorite anymore.
And Mendy says, and you're still awake? Yes, 3:30 in the morning, and I'm still awake. But I'll sleep in. I'm going to go for a long walk in the morning, but I'll sleep in. I'm surprised you can put a sentence together, says Jen.
Just even more than one has happened, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same effect, really. But all right, anything anybody wants to say before we wrap this up?
I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated in the chat tonight, because it was really going, and I'm going to really enjoy watching this back. I missed a lot of it. I was trying to watch while other people were talking, but I really feel like a lot of people contributed to this conversation tonight. And so thanks for just diving in spontaneously with us and sharing your thoughts, because this has been really awesome and is exactly why we were here tonight.
Yeah. And Sadhana has just joined us. Hello, Sadhana. We're just kind of wrapping up, but it's lovely that you was able to join us at the end. Will you be able to walk in the morning, Simon? Says Alana. Yes, I'll be able to walk in the morning.
I'm not gonna lie. When I excused myself to the loo, I did fall over. I'm not.
All over. Elle.
I have to be greedy because my new deck I apparently can't get enough of. It's kind of a new day, but it's kind of not. Maybe you'll do corn stream later, Simon. I'm not exactly sure, but can I for some reason still draw a card?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, do you want to try card crushing?
Well, as probably one of the newest community members who has discovered tarot, it's been really to see your journey and how much you're getting from the tarot. It's just really lovely. So your enthusiasm is infectious, so knock yourself out.
I might have dropped half the deck on the floor. Apparently, I'm my mother's son.
It's
Drop
genetic.
I'm not kidding. This is
It's
all
the golden thread tarot for people wondering.
How amazing that the newest amongst us is the one that's doing the card pull.
Give me
Perfect.
one moment here to
Yeah.
just.
Neem Essence 818 says, well, he's definitely your son, Jen.
Apparently, between a little bit of drinking and excitement makes it so no deck shuffling is flawless.
Ooh, ASMR.
All right. Did you throw more cards across the room?
Kristen's
No,
I can't fall for shit, she says. I always drop stuff.
so what is the question that we're going to end off on, or what is the maybe really early morning card? What are we shuffling for here?
How about something along the lines of what can we take from this community?
Okay, what can we take from this community?
Oh,
I
look at
love
that
how this duck
beautiful ripple.
shuffles.
I'm
Oh,
so proud.
I have to say, if you ever get a chance to get a plastic deck, which I know is the Golden Thread Tarot, or Simon says it's also, what is it, the Deck of the Bastard that's plastic?
Deck of the Bastard is another plastic deck. There's quite a few, but yeah.
Plastic decks are weirdly amazing, and I adore them. All right, what can we take?
Isn't it
One
fun
more.
to get somebody new hooked onto tarot people? Like, it's the
Let's
best.
see, one more good shuffle, let's say.
All right, let's do it.
Alana, just while I'm shuffling, says, Shane, are you looking to play 78 pickup? Apparently so.
What to take away, says Butterfly Magic. Don't drink in live chat. I think this has been very...
I think it's been pretty good. All right.
Butterfly?
We're getting called out.
All right, so I picked a card, and we got the Empress, which...
Oh, perfect.
Ooh, can I show this card is the real question. There we go.
Oh,
Now,
yes.
I'm a brand new taroter here, but from what I understand is that the Empress can be both... ooh, this is going to be rough. So sorry here, chat. It can be kind of, what is it, mystical yet powerful. I'm going to consult my nifty pamphlet here. Which never be ashamed to consult your pamphlet or book. Never be ashamed of that, especially if you don't have to be magical like the rest of them. Let's see. My High Priestess says intuition.
Creative.
No, the Empress, right?
Oh yeah, that's the High Priestess. Haha. The Empress, motherhood, fertility, and nature.
Well, and here's kind of what is it okay if I contribute here, Shane? Do you mind?
Please do.
So, it's like we came on here feeling really, really loving and nurturing about this family that I think extends beyond us here in the chat, right? But to all of you, and really wanting to share that and create that community. And I think the Empress really embodies that connection that we want to have with our tarot family, right? Which extends to everybody here and people who aren't watching and everybody that we've been so fortunate enough to meet. So that's kind of what I kind of connected with right off the bat when you showed that card. I don't know if anybody else here has any thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's all about nurturing, and I think it's about, the caregiver, the person who kind of wants to bring everybody together into the fold. And the Empress is a lovely card with this subject of community, the maternal element, the fact that the Empress embodies somebody who is mother, but somebody who is very connected as well. And when we think about the interconnectedness of all of us within this community, the Empress is the epitome of the person who is that all-embracing, all-encompassing energy and life force. So I think it's perfect for this discussion, really.
And Kristen Lewis says here, we can all be an extension of the Divine Mother through community and caring for others. I love that. And there was a bunch of other, everybody here has been communicating to that. I think
I was
really speaking to everyone.
I was watching the chat. Everyone had great sharing, especially, forgive me, I don't know quite who said it, but all I read was a quick, save him, Jen. Thank you for saving me. Ooh, new tarot baby. Sometimes when you're sharing your readings.
In front of whatever, right?
Sometimes when you're sharing your readings, it can definitely help. Even if you're giving readings to more experienced people, don't be afraid, because sometimes they'll help you out too. We were cheesily before we became live, we were all sharing, and I'm flipping through the book and I'm like, this is what I pulled for you, but here's kind of what I see, and then they'll help out. So don't be afraid to even read for more experienced people. It's fun.
Absolutely. And what we were saying before we went live is there are no right or wrongs with the tarot. There are people who are very by the book. There are people who are very intuitive. There are people who will look at the image and they will see it as a mirror and what that represents for their life in that moment. So there's no right or wrong. You know, you can't, if you pull the Empress, whatever you see in that card is right for you in your life state in that present moment. So, you know, just go with it. Nobody's here to say that's wrong, you know, because it's pertinent to you. So, and I really like Robin's comment from Toadstool Tarot, who says all 5 of you have big mothering arms, and that's really lovely because
Big hugs for all.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I was like,
Yeah.
So it's been lovely to see everybody here tonight. Thank you for joining us for the last hour or so. And yeah, it's been lovely to explore that sort of topic of what community means to us. And it's going to mean different things to different people. And that's great too, because we are an eclectic bunch. We are a diverse bunch. But, you know, let's always focus on what unites us rather than what separates us, because that's what will see us through, you know. So always treat everybody with fairness, dignity and respect, and that's what makes a great community. So thank you for joining us tonight. Is there anything anybody else wants to say before I end the broadcast?
No, just thanks to everyone for being here.
definitely. Thank you. And thank you for the kind words for your baby tarot card drawer. Everyone's like, he did great. Thanks. You suffered through with me as well, because it's like, of course, it's the one card that I'm like,
But it was a baptism of fire for you tonight.
definitely, yeah.
You debut, you know, this is it for you. This is your first step, first of many, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
It took Elle like a year, I feel like, to show up in someone's video.
Really? Is it
Like,
first
scoot
time?
right in.
Sorry to just kind of drag you in, Bran.
No, it was fun. I loved it.
Good. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Take care. I'm going to get to bed because it's the wee hours of the morning. So, love to you all. Stay safe, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste, and blessed be.